Hey everybody, Jay Schlansky here from the 5th Trooper Network. I just want to take a moment to thank you for checking out this show. Did you know that over at the5thtrooper.com we have tons of other content, including blogs, other podcasts, all kinds of stuff. In addition, if you want access to exclusive content, you can join us on patreon.com/the5thtrooper and join at any level and you'll get access to exclusive blog articles, access to our private Discord, and much more. So please check us out, and thank you so much for all your support.
Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome back to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Jay and Tim. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey-o, I am here. That last week's episode, almost 2 hours, took a lot out of me. I'm still reeling from it. Either that or the bathroom reconstruction I'm doing at my house. It's one of those two things that's really exhausted me. But yeah, we're here on a Monday, and I guess this is part 2 because we're gonna go over the new battleforces. But yeah, that was a lot. Mini extravaganza was a lot.
Yep. Yeah, that was our
which is great.
Fantastic. Yeah, that was our longest episode in a long time, and we didn't even get to everything. So
yeah, and yeah. I mean, I listen. I know we kind of brushed over this a little bit last episode, but I think it's encouraging the amount of content and information and the amount they talked about Legion is encouraging and doesn't make me feel like the game is dead in any way. It makes me feel like it's changing, but change is always going to happen. It's just part of how stuff works, and so yeah, no, I'm feeling good about Legion. And I mean, I think of course, there's always things we can complain about, right? Like, I think that's just the nature of being human. We're always going to have something to complain about. But I mean, we have worlds qualifiers. We have a worlds coming. We have new units coming. Like, I mean, I don't know.
complain feels like the wrong word, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Point out, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know.
Improvements can always be made.
Yeah, I guess I'm just I guess I'm just saying this because I have sometimes I have to catch myself. Especially like my first reaction sometimes can be a little negative because I think we're all opposed to change as human beings, and it's hard. And so I'm just trying to reset myself and our lovely listeners to know that, like, hey, here's the positives. We still have worlds. They're still taking competitive serious. Because I'll tell you what doesn't have worlds is MCP or Shatterpoint, right? So they're still taking our competitive scene serious, positive. There's a bunch new units coming out, positive. As much as we can say some of these battle forces are OP or not powerful enough, they're still coming out with new ones and new ways to play the game and units. I mean,
I think these ones are actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
In general. I feel like, well, we're just talking about positives. At least everything that was previewed, I feel like they hit the mark actually with almost everything except Inquisitors, which we talked at length about last week.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take like the Inquisitor critiques from last week. I don't want to have those take away from the fact that, like, I actually think they did, as far as I can tell so far, great with Geonosians. I think they did great with these two battle forces. We didn't really see rules for much else, but at least as far as what they previewed, 3 of those 4 things looked great to me. So we'll get into the battle forces today.
Well, and I think a lot of this is us reacting to things in the moment that we're in them, right? Like, so where we are today, that's all how we're looking in our perception of Inquisitors, right? And when they come out, we don't know what other battle forces will be out. We don't know what else is going to be happening in the game when they're released, where, like, I think Din is a perfect example. Like, we saw some flaws in Din that we pointed out that we're like, oh man, like the Ambam rifle, like things like that. But then as battle forces and other things came out, it just kind of overshadowed and moved past some of the flaws that we saw.
Well, that doesn't mean the Amband's good design. But yeah.
No, but it's not,
Yeah. The point is the Inquisitors could be dropping in a different context than what we have right now.
Yeah,
maybe they're going to cut all the Force users by 40 points. Who
right.
knows?
We have no idea, right? There could be points up. It could be all kinds of changes between now and then.
Correct.
So the best we can do is listen, for those of you that get on us about reacting to things, I'm not sure what you want us to do, because that is basically what this show is all about. It's just us reacting to things. Like, you want to hear I don't know, don't listen. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, if you want to hear boring discussions, just listen to the playback of the meeting I was in over the weekend, where it took an hour to approve a budget. Not a budget, an agenda.
It took an hour for you to decide what you're talking about.
Yep.
Lovely. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna like say, if you want to listen to something boring, go listen to Stabcast. Because that's
I like Stabcast. They do great battle reports.
They're definitely not boring.
Yeah.
all right.
Anyway,
I don't know what other podcasts are out there. I don't even know.
Let's move on.
No, I'm gonna name a boring podcast, Kyle.
How about we talk about these battle forces? Because I'm excited about these battle forces.
All right, we can do that. Let me, for those of you joining us on the YouTubes, I'll go ahead and we're gonna share the screen as we go through these and talk about them. Can you guys see this? Okay, yes. Perfect and schlag. We good? All right. So so I guess we'll go through the droid one first. Oh, okay. So this is the experimental droids. Let's see. They're part of Separatists, obviously. The following units count as core units for the purposes of army building and battle cards. IG 100 Magna Guard prototype assassin droids. Boy, I didn't really ever think their name was that long, because we all just called them Magna Guards. Isn't that true? That's like true with everything, like the snail tank.
Yeah.
Like
I think the Occupier is my favorite.
Yeah.
That one is ridiculously long. But yeah, I mean, so real quick, because I genuinely don't know. And I feel I've seen all of Clone Wars, all of Rebels. I've seen most of the things.
Go on.
Do you know what this is actually from?
Nope.
Okay. Because
you're
I'm
asking
not
the wrong person. I think Mike or Evan or Tim.
Sure. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Which specific thing?
The experimental droids. Tim doesn't know either. All right. Well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of supposed to be like Battle of Kashyyyk-ish, at least with the snail tank.
Yeah.
And obviously the other battle force that's releasing at the same time as the Wookiee ones, so that would make sense. But I don't recall like assassin IG Magna Guard droids at that battle.
This kind of feels like a mash of fluff and rules.
Okay.
Of like to me, like these two, like we have the Wookiee battle force, obviously Battle of Kashyyyk. We have this where like the base of it seems like Battle of Kashyyyk, but then I think they wanted to sort of mirror in gameplay the like special forces at our core, so they made Magnas that.
Yeah,
like that. I mean, I'm also not a super big fluff person, but that kind of feels like it's sort of like one of those when you're doing game design for big IPs, you gotta sometimes sacrifice some fluff to make rules.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's like, well, what do we got? Right? Like, I think it's one of those two. Oh, I guess we have this and this. That makes sense. Sure. Let's go. I mean,
in case you wanted to field an army entirely made up of Magna Guard, you can almost do that here. So
good. Okay.
Potentially.
Yeah. Right. So at the start of each activation phase, you can choose up to one of your commander units. If you do, put 3 surge tokens on that unit's unit card. Once during its activation, a friendly special forces, core, or support unit that has the AI keyword may perform a free action to spend a surge token on the chosen commander unit if it is at range 3. If it does, choose one of the following. God, there's so much. I really like I'm the type of player that I just start reading that and I'm done. I'm already done. I'm like, well, I'm not playing this Battle Force because I just don't want to read this again.
Personally, I love everything about this, but I'll let you
Okay.
finish reading it first.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm gonna be honest with everyone. I have not read any of these. This is my first time. I try to react to these live. That's my like knee-jerk reaction. It's like, dude, I don't want to read a book. I just want to play a game. You choose one of the following. You increase their speed by 1 during their next move action this turn. Gain 1 aim token or 1 dodge token. Add 1 black die and 1 white die to their attack pool during their next attack action this turn. Or remove up to 2 suppression tokens. So
That's all pretty good.
so you're basically you're getting a you put surges on the commander. And then once during an activation, Special Forces Core and support, as long as they have AI, they perform a free action to spend the one of the surges off of the commander if they're at range 3, and then they can do one of those. So I can say, I'm a Magna Guard, I'm gonna like rocket into like an ATST or something, and I go, okay, I'm gonna spend one of those surges to add a black and a white die to my dice pool.
Yep. Exactly.
And you get
Yeah,
to do
it's-
that. It's activation phase, right? So you'll get at least 3 of those every activation.
Well, and one relevant thing here that they clarified on the forums is that since the surge tokens go on the unit card and not on the table, they don't actually get picked up at the end of the round. So if you have leftovers that you haven't spent, they basically accumulate like over time. Which is really good. That makes this ability a lot better because that means it's not just like, 3 uses a turn. It's
no
potentially you could save them up and do it like 6 times a turn. Now, obviously, it's still
holy moly.
Each unit can only do this once per its activation.
Still.
So it's not like you can, have one unit do 4 of these things at once, right? But even still, yeah, it essentially means that you're going to get value out of all these.
Oh, I mean,
all
there's
these
so
tokens.
there's so many. Like my first reaction, like, is a late game, like increase your speed by 1 to like push all you guys through for a breakthrough or onto a KP or or damn, that's actually really good. I really like that.
Yeah, it's a really strong ability. I like this for 2 reasons. One, I like the creativity and like all the different things you can do with this. These are all situationally very good effects, right? Increasing your speed, gaining a token. The white die and black die thing is like potentially amazing depending on what you add it to. Or just removing suppression tokens, like if a unit's about to panic or something.
Yeah.
Those are all situationally great. This is a really strong ability, and I think it's definitely offset by how highly restrictive this unit roster is.
Yep.
Which I think is personally a good thing. Like you wouldn't want to just give this to like a free for all separatist roster or any roster really, because that would be
Wild.
crazy. Yeah. But with this like heavily restricted unit roster, I think it's actually pretty interesting. Do you want to talk about the unit roster real quick?
Yeah. So, here are the allowed units for commander. You have super tactical droid. Now, is that just the regular one? You probably can't put, or is that the type? Can you put Kraken and Kalani in there or
no? So the Kraken and Kalani are just subtitles.
Oh, okay.
So I think at least my interpretation of this would be that you can use them as well. I think there might have been a forum ruling or something out on this very question. I don't remember what it was, so don't quote me on it.
Okay. T-Series as well. For your special forces, you can have the BX droid commandos, no strike teams. I love how they put that in there because they're good enough to like exclude. IG, the Magna Guards. For core units, you have to have up to 2 B1 battle droids, but you can also have 0. Up to 2 B2 battle droids, but also 0, or you could have them all Magna Guards if you wanted. Support droidecas. I don't think we've ever
Droidicas.
droidecas.
Yeah,
And
Where
for,
are those droidicas?
yeah. And then for the heavy, the prototype tank droid, which we're going to go over in a minute, but they have a special card. And then no unique upgrades are allowed. You have to include 1 to 2 commanders. You can include up to 3 special forces. You must include 3 to 6 core, up to 3 supports, and 2 heavy. So almost very similar to, or exact to regular.
exactly the same, except
Yeah,
there's
to
no
core
operators
rules.
allowed because there's
Right.
no operatives.
Yep, there's no operatives, and then the special forces can count as core units for
Right.
army building requirements, which means, in theory, I guess you could have up to like 9 of these special Magna Guard units.
It's
No?
like the fallen unit counts as core unit. It's not a may, so I don't think
I
you can
see.
be
So
like
it fulfills the minimum, but you still can't exceed the maximum.
yeah. So the 3 special forces is up to 3 BXs is what that is.
Oh, I see.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the allowed units is giving you its typical rank and what it's allowed, and then the special rules are telling you, even though it's typical rank of a special forces unit, the Magna Guard are treated as core units in this battle force.
Yep.
Just for army building, you still
And
like
well,
could
not just for army building in specific,
Okay.
because they also count during battle cards.
Yeah.
I.e.
Oh,
for
and battle cards, I see,
for
and hostage, which makes
Yep.
sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't have anyone to give
Yeah.
a hostage to if you didn't
Right,
take
yeah.
B1s or B2s.
So
Yeah.
and that wording is the same for the droids and the Wookiees. So that if you have all Magna Guards as core or all Wookiees as core, you have
Oh,
a
yeah.
hostage.
That's
slot.
great. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
Which
makes
is
sense.
which is a good catch because that
Yeah,
could have
for
been
sure.
overseen.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they could have also just made the special Magna Guard unit a core unit. I guess that
That
gets like command cards and stuff potentially gets weird, but I don't know.
yeah, I think it's to prevent like there's also like various command cards and various effects. Like let's say like vigilance, you'd
Mhm.
only be able to hold 1 dodge on the Magna Guard instead of 2 dodges.
Right. Yeah.
Which isn't the biggest deal, but like effects like that where the rank matters.
Yeah, and it matters for your order pool
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think yeah, great catches by the dev team. So
Yep.
so that's great.
When you mention order pool too, also I mean like if you were to bring, I don't know what the points are exactly, but like 6 Magnas and 3 BXs, you
You'd
have
need
1
nine
commander and 9 special forces.
Yeah. Which is which is functionally perfect order control, even if you don't have any face ups on the table except for your commander. So yeah, interesting.
Oh, that's so they still would use their normal token, order token, huh?
Yep.
Oh, that's super
That's a
interesting.
pretty interesting like side benefit that's actually not immediately apparent just when you're looking at this. But
cool.
Yep.
All right, let's I guess we can go over these cards. Can I zoom in? Is this gonna let me? Let's see. Well, okay. Well, I guess I'm just stuck in this forever now.
We can read them, Jay.
There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
I was like, what? My computer. Okay. So the new snail tank droid.
Do we want to just hit how this is like different than a normal snail tank?
Yeah, sure. So it doesn't have transport.
Does not have transport.
Numero uno, so no transporting stuff.
Yep.
What else is different?
It has an ability called
Arsenal
It has Arsenal
Oh,
3,
yeah.
which is
Yep.
extra Arsenal, so that's good. It has an ability called Command Node, which is basically direct at range 1
To a core unit,
Yep.
to a core. Yeah, it's direct
which
core at range 1.
which matters because your Magna Guards are special forces, not core.
Yeah, which is extra interesting. That
Yeah.
basically you'd have to take a B1 or a B2, I guess, to even take advantage of this.
Yep.
Um,
Huh.
yeah,
Well, no, hold on. Hold on. Doesn't it say
it's only during battle cards and army building.
army building? Oh, okay. Battle cards. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Sorry, I just want to make sure we read that right. Yep. Okay.
yeah. I don't know why they couldn't. I mean, I don't know why the range component of this was like so important that they couldn't just use direct core, but whatever. Um, it is it does not surge to hit like the normal snail does.
Right.
So those are I think the three. Really, that's four
Uh,
differences, right?
well,
Did
and
I miss any?
the main weapon doesn't have critical.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
So they're like natively, it has no surge
Or
on offense at
or
all.
way to convert surges.
Yeah.
Which is a huge difference.
It
Oh,
is.
and no impact on the 1 to 2.
Yep.
Oh, there is no impact period on
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So really, I guess the primary way this is better is Arsenal 3 versus Arsenal 2. But if you're losing surge to hit and critical and impact, that seems like it's still a worse offensive profile. Even if you take
This
one of the shells that's like high velocity or the bunker buster shells.
Yeah.
well, and the way the tank like the way the shells are usually used on like a snail is you like shoot at like range 3 or 4 with like high velocity shells are often taken with it. And then you close and then you use the like for the
You
next
switch to
turn.
the ion
Like
cannons.
yeah, it's because then you tap back and if you get to shoot again, great. But and then you're also usually transporting something. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
usual way this tank is played is uh completely not applicable to how this tank would play.
Yeah, this seems like significantly worse than a normal snail tank.
Yeah.
Unless I'm missing something.
No.
I think if you're playing with like like having aggressive tactics and it gets a surge token, then like but even then like I don't know, like you probably like if you want to play it, you probably throw bunker busters on it and just like eat it forward and spend the surge token to get you extra black and white die. And then you go up to like what is that? So 5, 7, 11, 13 dice with one surge token and just like and blast and scatter and just kind of like see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely gets interesting when you use that extra dice ability.
Yeah.
I guess, but the way, I mean, okay, so this is kind of I think it's a positive. I'm not saying this as a negative. I think this is very much a positive for battle forces. Is there's always like 20 ways to play each battle force, like and that like the one where you're like, there's a new snail tank, like you think that's what they're, but really it's the special, it's having all the Magna Guard that's going to be the
Yeah.
the really
Well,
good version. But I mean, it's the same amount of money and it does way less that like, or the
I
same money cost.
yeah. I do think like I don't know if it actually is viable, but the like throw like link target array, the programming to give you reroll or precise 2, and then bunker busters, and just the like yeet forward, try to blow something up with a surge token and aim, you get to reroll 4 dice. You probably have another ignite, get another aim. Like that's not nothing.
Yeah.
Like it probably moves forward and like deletes whatever's in front of it,
Oh,
uh but then you're at range 2 of your opponent's army. It has weak point side, so it's really susceptible to just and it's white defense. Like it's pretty susceptible to just getting shot down if you do that.
yeah, yeah.
So I if it still had transport, I would be like if it was the same unit card but with transport, doing that would then at least you have sort of like a secondary punch. But
Right.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm sure I would have fun doing that. I don't know if it's good. In fact, I'm a little bit doubtful it's good, but
I do like that we're looking at this, and unlike, the first infamous battle card specific unit, the Storm HRUs, we're looking at it and we're like, is this actually better than the normal thing? Like that's an open question as opposed to just looking at it and be like, ugh,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a good thing personally. That it appears to be a side grade, and it's not immediately obvious that this is just like straight up better than a normal snail tank. And obviously when you consider the exceptionally good just battle force wide special rule with the surge token thing, I think that's good too. So yeah, you want to talk about these magnas?
So, by the way, I'm really thick, and it just dawned on me, because this is my first time looking at any of this, that you can't take the regular magnas. That you have
Nope.
to. That's a very specific special magna. That's why I was like the prototype assassin droid, and I was like, as you guys were talking about the snail tank, I was like, oh, So this makes way more sense. That's just like, yeah. Let's talk about them. So, the two big things that stick out to me is it's 60 points for 4, which is great. And so the normal one is 72 with a 3-man unit. They have AI dodge move still, they have charge still, they have immune to pierce, melee pierce still, unhindered still. Those are the only keywords that they rolled over. So they lost guardian, retinue. I think that's it. They lost
primarily those two.
Yeah, and they lost their surge to hit.
They lost surge to hit. Their electro staff is worse.
Right, by 1. It went down one of the dive, went from a black to a white. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they lost a bunch of upgrades too, right? So training and comms they lost. So just 2. They lost training and comms.
And they're only 1 health and 1 courage.
Right. Right. Versus 2 and 2. Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing, is the fact that they're only 1 health.
I mean,
the courage is like less relevant if they're in
Yeah.
panic range of their commander, panic bubble range. It's not nothing. But yeah,
No.
the surge hit, the 1 health, those are big losses. Obviously they're cheaper, which is great, and they have more models, which is also great.
But not as great as if they were 2 health with more models, right? But
sure.
Well, I mean, having more models does give them more offensive punch.
yes.
Right.
It's not as much defensive wherewithal as they had before.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you give them a heavy, which as far as, I mean, the heavies are still the same price basically. Yep. And those heavies they'll share the unit card stats. So they only have 1 health also on the heavies. So basically if you give them, a rocket or a whip or whatever, that would be 5 models, which would be 10 dice potentially instead of 8. It would be a little bit cheaper, but then it would be 5 health instead of 10. So,
yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 5 health instead of 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously no retinue. So they're definitely like less durable than the normal magnas. There's still red saves.
Yep.
And they're now spammable red saves in a faction that didn't really have that before.
Yep. And there's still charge, which is really nice to have on a unit.
Still pretty good melee unit.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
And a melee unit that can bump up to speed 3.
Speed 3. Yeah.
For 1 move. Like they can go 14 less a little bit inches.
Right.
So yeah. So the interesting,
it's not 2 speed 3s, it's just 1 speed 3 and then a speed 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't, do the thing where you get to exactly range 2 of a melee unit.
Correct.
And they can't get to you.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's interesting. I always forget that so for the heavies, you of course have the rocket and the whip, but then you could just have a regular Magna Guard for like 10 points cheaper in there too. So I think for like 82 points, you could have a 5-man squad of, a couple of those that are just basically diving into enemy lines or protecting your back flank or something. I mean, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of different ways to play this list.
These Magnus are, I think we mentioned, are also worse in melee. They're black, white, and melee, not black, black.
Yeah.
And they also don't surge, which is.
Yep.
Do the regular Magnus surge?
They
Yep.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're, yeah.
They definitely hit less hard in that respect. More dice is good, but it's probably like a wash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
it's actually good because if you had a whole if you could run 6 of the normal,
oh, it'd be silly.
it'd be
Yeah.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for balance that these guys are worse than normal
Yes,
Magnus.
yes. No, this battle force was very much thought through, which is
Mhm.
great.
The rocket does also the critical one, so like the range 2 shot from the 11 dice is probably like the biggest punch they would have.
Yep.
Yeah. I have to say, I think like everybody else, I was definitely going into this without any knowledge, just rough outline of what the two battle forces. I was definitely more excited going in to hear about the Wookiees, but now after hearing this one, I'm like, oh, this one's super interesting too. It's there's a lot of really cool plays that you have in there. Yeah, I might try this list out actually. I kind of like how some of this is laid out. So
Does this give you any reason to play Droidicas?
Nope.
okay, maybe. Here's my argument for him.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's right. Okay. But with the surge to spend for maybe getting like an extra speed or something, maybe a bombing run, maybe bombing run, droidica bombing runs, or like breakthrough, maybe.
I mean, they can already go roll mode for that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they could. They wheel up, right?
And the free action get a thing still doesn't solve their AI problem.
Right.
Right.
And there's not really. I mean, you can take a super tactical droid for the orders, obviously, but it's not like this is any better at getting them face up orders or ignoring AI than a normal.
Yeah, I guess though.
Separatist list.
But I guess what it does do though with the surge, right, is that I know they have wheel mode, but you could get them up to speed 2 in their regular mode, which would allow them to attack, to have an attack action. So you could move, instead of moving speed 1, right, you can move speed 2 and attack. Like I think it gets them into the fray a little bit faster, or I mean, because they hit pretty hard.
It's
It's
I mean, it's what, 4 black, 2 red.
Yeah.
It's
suppressive, which isn't.
Yeah, it's the problem. Their problem normally is that they don't have good access to aims and they don't surge.
Well,
so unless they're using aggressive tactics and giving them orders, and obviously they don't have coordinate or anything like that, so you got to do it like the old-fashioned way, basically.
Sure. I mean, they could have good access to aims in this list, right? With that surge option. So
yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, I mean, it's not like it's only the droidicas that can get a free aim token. There are plenty of things better than droidicas that you can also give free aim tokens to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find anything here.
Well, there's one reason I think you would take them.
All right.
In this list, and that is because depending on how you built them, whenever you built your droidicas, they may be tall enough to block line of sight to a trooper silhouette.
Oh, interesting.
So if you happened to build them tall enough to do that, whenever you built them, then you could put them in front of your horde of 1 health Magna Guards to block line of sight to them as you're moving up.
I mean, but that's thematic, right?
Sure,
the droidicas in the front with their shields, just boo, 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 and everybody like marching behind them. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's also not clear to me. I think you could, if you use 2 droidicas, you could kind of offset them in like a checkerboard style to like give each other heavy cover, even when they're not like in cover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple things you could do, I think, with the fact that they actually could potentially block line of sight.
See, silver lining, we found it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good than just like taking more Magna Guard. But
No idea.
it's a reason, I guess.
I mean, hey, listen, how many of us have those right? I have them together and painted
Sure.
and
Yeah.
right. I
I'd
mean,
love
because
an excuse to use them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and any excuse to use them, I'll take.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll think about that and put something together because it sounds at least fun to just have them on the board. You know.
You know what would make it so that I would use them in a normal separatist list is if they gave their guns impact or critical.
Oh yeah.
Then I
Or
would
search hit.
or surge hit. Any of those, then I would
Yeah.
use them.
Or a liable one.
Yes.
Need surge access.
They need some kind of surge conversion, or they need to contribute to the whole impact thing. Because that's frankly, I think that's personally their biggest drawback is that they take up a support slot without contributing to the impact.
Impact.
So
Interesting.
which is stabs are good for different reasons, but stabs have the same problem. Although they have critical, so it's not quite as bad. But all right, Wookiees.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right, Wookiee defenders. So special rules. The following unit counts as a core unit for the purposes of army building and battle cards. Wookiee warriors, noble fighters. Your army must include at least 3 Wookiee trooper units. The first time a miniature in each Wookiee trooper unit is defeated each round, that unit may make a speed 1 move. That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Whether it's you're angry and you're going to go at them or you're mad or you're scared and you're going to go back. Hey, you get to do something. That's really neat. Allowed units, Yoda, Chewie, Wookiee Chieftain. Great, great, great. Special forces, up to 1 ARC troopers, no strike team. Wookiee warriors, as many as you want. Well, up to 4. Core units up to 2 phase 2 clone troopers, and then your Wookiee noble defenders, noble fighters. Then supports, you can have 1 bark speeder and up to 1, and you can have as many fluttercraft as it'll allow. And then for your heavies, you can have an infantry support platform. I forgot those were even that thing. You can have up to 1 of those. You can have up to 1 saber class tank. No unique upgrades allowed. So their rank requirements, you can have up to 2 commanders, pretty normal. You may include up to 4 special forces. You have to include 3 to 6 for your core units, support up to 3, and heavies up to 1. So you can have 1 heavy unit. I mean, if you're going to go heavy, you're going saber tank. I don't know why you would be ISP. I can't think of a reason, unless just to be part of, to be Wookified. Yeah. And then let's see.
Well, I don't think the ISP is. I actually think that it could be potentially viable, but the thing that the ISP does really well is start fire supports.
Oh, okay.
And this list doesn't really do the clone thing. So
right.
Yeah, it's an odd fit for this list, tactically speaking, but it's definitely thematic because those things were at Kashyyyk. So
the place where they appear.
yes,
I mean, and this is what we wanted, right?
Oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
This is I think that speed 1 move thing is like it's super simple.
Yeah.
It's it's not a wall of text like the droid one, but it's really good.
Well, because they have charge, right?
It doesn't activate charge.
Oh, okay.
It gets you closer though.
Yeah.
Potentially. Or away even potentially.
Yeah.
I played a game with these so I was with the Tuesdays, like a couple days after it was announced, and I looked into my minis cabinet. I had enough Wookiees, so YOLO. But I was playing Yoda, Chewie, 6 units of just Wookiees with tenacity.
Naked Wookiees
with tenacity and recon intel.
Uh-huh.
And then but with the speed 1 move plus guidance, you can really yeet Wookiee units around the table with this battle force. That range, I was playing an Empire gunline-esque kind of thing, and I was able to go from them shooting me plinking range 4 to oh yep, I'm in your face immediately. So,
Nice.
and the other thing that I did pull off was like, so you do the thing where you have melees, so like someone backs away and then the other unit shoots them. Well, if they get shot and a mini dies, you then move them back into melee.
That's funny.
Dang. Yeah.
So like it's a simple but amazing rule.
Uh, hey.
Also makes them ridiculous at hostage because every time you lose a mini on your hostage unit, you just get to move again.
Move closer.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yep. Even if you don't take Yoda, I mean, obviously Yoda's still on hostage, but like if you don't take Yoda and you just take a bunch of Wookiees, then yeah, this list would still be great at hostage. You can actually make probably, even if you don't take Yoda, a pretty crazy objective skew because you just take flutters and then that
Well,
takes
yeah, and you can also do the huge melee skew. It's like, sorry, a huge Wookiee skew where you go like Chieftain Chewie, 4 units of shooty Wooks, 6 units of melee Wooks, and just I have all the Wookiees.
that's a lot of fur. It's the fur avalanche. Fur avalanche.
I'm not I'm not sure exactly how many like heavies and stuff you get, but like
Probably not
it's
many.
a lot of fur.
Yeah.
No.
Uh,
And you
that's
probably
been
want to dedicate your You probably want to dedicate your heavies to the shooty Wooks too.
yeah. Give them the bowcasters and just run the melee ones naked, basically.
Yeah.
so
If tenacity and all push hadn't gone up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does this speed one move trigger agile?
No. Oh
No.
no, they changed that.
It's got to be
Right,
move
because
action.
it's a move or a free action, right? For agile now.
It's
I think it's
just a move action.
a
Yeah.
standard move as a part of a action or free action, I think is the yeah. So I was just wondering, yeah, because they have that McGraw, the 2-pip.
Which is still a great card, but yeah, you're not going to get like a bunch of extra free dodge tokens from
Right.
Agile.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a thought. Wanted to add that up, put that out there.
Standard move
Standard move, yeah, okay.
as part of an action or free action is the
Hmm.
important part. So this is neither an action nor a free action. It's simply a speed
Just
one
a
move.
speed one move, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, worth asking, right?
Yep. No, it is worth asking because it used to work that way.
Right.
And you could use like No Time for Sorrows to,
Yep.
give Tauntauns free dodge tokens and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. That's
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Should we look at this special Fluttercraft?
Yeah, let's do it.
Which, unlike the droid units, looks just straight up significantly better than a normal Fluttercraft, but
Good, because they needed it, right? I mean,
debatable, but
Don't tell Dr. Paul that.
yeah.
I'll tell him all day long. What's he gonna do? Nothing, because he only writes for us. He doesn't get on the podcast. Take that.
What is he gonna do? Just back to a successful medical career and it's not. But
Yeah, he's just gonna cry. All right, so same amount of points, 57. Same health.
No, it's not the same amount. It's
What?
55 versus 57.
Oh, the other one's 55. Right.
This one is there's only two differences
Yeah.
between
Okay.
this and the normal one. It's 2 more
Okay.
points.
Yep.
And then it has this attack run ability,
Okay.
which allows you to change your speed,
Oh yeah,
which
that's
is
cool.
huge.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, speed 3 flutters are already ridiculously fast. Speed 3 flutters are like,
Yeah.
what's the Spaceballs? They've gone plaid. Basically that's speed 3 flutters. They're just teleporting across the board essentially. And then if you need to slow them down to speed 1 to get like a certain shot or not fly off the table or something, which you shouldn't have to worry about because they have reposition, but for some reason if you need to slow down to speed 1 you can do that too.
Well,
Well-
I think when you're flying speeders a lot, right? Like because these guys count as a repulsor or whatever, right? So
Yep.
it's like, when you have to move, but you want to like hang back and you're not ready to really like move all the way up the board. A speed 1 is not a bad thing to have.
Well, and the flutters often are trying to do the thing where they like move up, shoot, move back.
Yeah.
Internet. That's it.
We're losing
Yep.
Tim again.
Yep. It's fine. We don't need him, Kyle. We can go
All right.
on without
We're
him.
press on. The show must go on.
Yeah. I think Tim's right though, right? You could do, you get further, you get a speed 3 up, get in that range 3 or 2, and then speed 3 back and get out of range from them. It's kind of
That's yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, you do like a loop basically, because if you're giving him the bowcaster, it's a rear arc shot, which is granted not easy to set up, or at least not as easy as obviously a forward facing shot. But what it does allow you to do is kind of like if you're either left or right of your target, shoot him that way and then just do another reposition and go directly back to where you started. And now you can do that from further away with your speed 3. So yeah, this is great. I think Flutter's probably needed a little bit of love anyway, and this is super fast Fluttercraft, which seems on theme for me also.
Yeah, I like everything. I like everything they're doing. These two, I think you said it right at the top, but like these two seem like the most level and processed battle forces that we've seen so far, I think.
I agree. They also notably do not have their own command cards.
Yeah.
I mean, they do kind of by extension in that Wookiees, there are like Wookiee generic command cards for Republic, and then obviously the droid one centers around.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna end up with a super tactical droid, and they have their own set of very good command cards. But yeah, I like that the defining like special rules for these battle forces are actually just like printed universal rules that are on all the time and are very unique and thematic for these. So
I really like these, and they seem more interesting against each other too, where it seems like the battle forces thus far, where they're supposed to be, Echo versus Blizzard and Ewoks versus Tempest, like one always has an edge over the other one significantly. 501st versus Invasion, one always has an edge over the other one. And this one, I mean, I guess you guys would, Tim, you may know better, but like I feel like they both have really good pieces that I could definitely see working against each other. Like I don't, like, just off the top of my head, I don't see one edging out the other.
The off the top, I mean, I just am biased towards Wookiees because Wookiees are fun.
Sure.
But it's kind of one of those weird sort of design mix, or not mix ups, but like questions of like, so the Wookiees is simple and powerful, and then droids is somewhat like less powerful out of the top, but also way more options.
Hmm.
Right? Like, I don't know, like the droid one is like, the all comes out as a wash, but like the what you can do with the droid one if you're innovative is pretty cool. Whereas the Wookiee one is more obvious. It's like, yeah, if they get shot, something dies, I can run at you closer or get away safely.
Yeah.
So
I just, I think the Wookiee one has, in my mind, has some options, but a little less than the droid one. Just, I think because of the way it's built, like, and how people are gonna, it's like, no, Wookiees, like that's the option for this one, right? Like it's maybe Yoda, but that's probably the only like non-Wookiee thing you're gonna have in the army, if at all. And but the other one, there's definitely, like, it felt like there was a bunch of like mix and match stuff that you could potentially do that seemed super interesting on that one. I don't know. It's just yeah, these are both really cool. I don't know. I can't remember if I was for or against battle forces when they first came out. I think I was okay with them, but I'm 100% fine with them now. Wherever I was before, I really like that they're doing this. I think it's a great idea. Great idea.
yeah, as long as they're balanced, and these two look, at least on first blush, like they are.
Yeah.
The Wookiee one seems very much like a skew that you're going to need an answer for.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether that ends up being an issue or not. But initially, these both look well thought out, which I think is good. I think there's danger with like too many battle forces. If you could get into some territory where that's like the only way to play a certain faction potentially, if it's too
Maybe. Yeah.
good. But
We're not there yet. And the other
I
thing
don't think we're there.
the other thing I have to say, like, is like to the skew of both IG and Wookiee skews, right? Like, not all people have the wherewithal or the money or the time to like buy into the skews. And so, I mean, like, for instance, right, like, with the Invasion Force one, I came up with that 8B1 with Tim. You and I came up with that 8B1 with I think I've never seen it in the wild besides the one time I played it. Right? Like, I've heard people say they proxied it or they played it, but I've never seen anyone actually play it besides myself at any major tournaments. And so I think that's when it comes to skew like that, it's tough to like tell someone they have to buy. You may have what, 2 or 3 Wookiees, but to like get 6, and 3 Fluttercraft, and it's, if you weren't there already, it's not as probable that you're going to get there.
Yeah, for me, it's actually because when those new Wookiee boxes came out, I already had like 3 Rebel Wookiees.
Mm.
And then I saw those new Wookiee boxes and I was like, these are great. I love these new sculpts. I want more Wookiees. And then I bought 3 of the Republic Wookiee boxes. So like I can actually do this absent the Fluttercraft.
Right.
Clearly I would need those, but I actually have enough Wookiee, like Tim probably was in a similar position. I actually have enough Wookiees to do this already. So
Yeah, that's what happened for me too.
Yep.
And especially like this Wookiee Battle Force, most of the units um probably aren't going to be like with heavy weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, if you're buying boxes to get to this Battle Force, like each box of the new ones comes with 7 models, right?
Yes.
So you can like, especially with a little bit of conversion work, build up your stock of Wookiees pretty quick.
Right.
But especially like what I did is I like had like this is a unit, like they're all naked, but this unit, the 3 of them, because I don't have bases matched for everything, of course, yet. But like I put 3 bowcasters together. They're the bowcaster unit. I put 3 battle shields together. They're the battle shield unit, right? So, and I think that would probably fly in most like tournament settings, right? If it's like, yeah, they're all the same and like all the bowcasters are together, all the battle shields are together.
Oh yeah, that's smart. That makes sense.
So, yeah.
I'm excited to try this.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just super interesting, right? And I like that we have some ideas of like lists, but nothing is just like, oh yeah, that's how you play this one, which is great. I think that's great, and
I'll be curious to see what people come up with.
Yeah. And I think overall, we did see Blizzard Force is still very strong, but was very strong when it came out. But I think overall, outside of Blizzard Force, they've all been pretty reasonable. Even Tempest, I think, has potential spikes, but it's just not. I don't think it's not like as oppressive as Blizzard Force is. But then again, I haven't seen much of like the 6 sniper squad lists, right? So but that's one of those skews that's like, yeah, go get 6. Like, now you got to put those together. God, like, that's a lot of so
a lot of work.
Yeah.
I feel like the Magna Guards are going to be a heavy lift from a building and painting perspective here than the Wookiees, but
yeah, I would agree. But I did see, the tournament I was at a couple weekends ago, I saw 2 remnant forces with dark troopers, so that was pretty cool. I haven't seen much of those in the wild, so it was fun to play them.
Dark Troopers are still good. I don't know why people are like. out
No,
on
they're,
Dark Troopers.
yeah, they're really good.
But, yeah.
I mean, in both, and I played. I actually, had to play against one, and it took a lot of my. I was playing Yoda Chew. No, what did I play? I don't know. Oh, I played Double Bounty. It took a considerable amount of my army to take them down. I mean, I did it, but it was definitely a lot. you know. But
Yep.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, two great battle forces. Very excited for both of them.
Yep.
Let's cut this. We're done. We're done, boys.
All
Let's
right.
get out. Let's get out early.
Yep. You say that, but it's been like an hour. So
God damn it.
It has been almost exactly an hour.
This is another one of those episodes where at the
That's
beginning,
actually really good
I
for us.
cursed us. That is really good for us.
Yeah, no.
But I definitely cursed us where I was like, guys, if this one is like 40 minutes, that'd be okay.
yeah. But an
Never.
hour, we usually go about 115, 120. So
Yeah.
you know what? I'll take an hour. Let's go,
Yep.
Kyle. Do the ending. Let's get out.
All right. Yeah. All right. We are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jay.
I'm Timbo.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Stay cool, Fruit Mat.
Au revoir.